Evelyn Ashwood considered herself an expert in the arcane, though perhaps not in the way most academics would understand. Her expertise lay in the dusty, forbidden tomes of occult lore, in the whispers of forgotten rituals, and in the peculiar intricacies of her personal system interface. For Evelyn, the world was a tapestry woven with ley lines, spiritual energies and hidden pathways, all cataloged by the system's meticulous data. Her current, self-assigned quest was particularly enthralling. Quest: Unveiling the Veil. Description: research the historical records and mystical properties surrounding the legendary Veil of Souls, said to thin dramatically on Halloween night. Objective: translate the ancient Aramaic manuscript fragment from the Oakhaven Historical Society archives. Reward: 100 experience points, arcane insight minor. Failure: incomplete knowledge. Missed opportunity: Evelyn, with her sharp, inquisitive eyes and a perpetually slightly disheveled look that spoke of late-night research, sat hunched over a heavy, brittle manuscript. The Oakhaven Historical Society, usually a haven of quiet dust, was buzzing with the faint, almost imperceptible hum of residual spiritual energy. It was Halloween night, and the veil between worlds was, according to all her research, indeed thinning. Name: Evelyn Ashwood class. Occult Scholar. Adept. Level 6. Level 6, 720, 1000 experience points. Primary attributes: Intellect 15, for deciphering ancient texts and arcane theory. Insight 14, for perceiving spiritual energies and hidden truths. Presence 9, she preferred books to bustling social circles. Dexterity 7, prone to tripping over her own feet when deep in thought. Core skills: Ancient language proficiency, advanced. Passive, fluent in multiple ancient and mystical languages. Spiritual attunement, basic, active. Detects nearby spiritual signatures. Mana cost, 10. Arcane lore, advanced. Passive, extensive knowledge of magical history, rituals, and entities. Mind Fortress, passive. Grants minor resistance to mental influence and spiritual dread. She meticulously translated the final lines of the Aramaic text. Her intellect was pushed to its limit, but she finally had it. The manuscript spoke of a specific ritual, a grand Masquerade of Souls, held once a century on the night the veil was thinnest, drawing spirits from across the cosmic tapestry. It also mentioned a unique resonant artifact, the Mirror of Echoes, as the key to either control or appease the incoming spectral tide. Quest: Unveiling the Veil. Complete. You have gained 100 experience points. You have gained Arcane Insight Minor. Arcane Insight Minor. Effect: briefly enhances intellect and insight by +2 for 1 minute. As the last word solidified in her mind, the system glitched. It wasn't a visual distortion, but a profound spiritual tremor. The air in the Historical Society thickened, becoming heavy with an intoxicating mix of ethereal perfume and grave dust. The faint hum of spiritual energy escalated into a powerful, resonant thrum that vibrated in her very bones. The flickering fluorescent lights overhead suddenly dimmed, then burst, showering sparks. The quiet dust of the archives began to swirl, coalescing into translucent, shimmering forms. Her spiritual attunement basic skill went into hyperdrive, painting terrifying labels on the forms that were rapidly taking shape around her. Ephemeral Spectre, hostile. Level 8, Health Ethereal, vulnerable to spiritual damage. Defense Incorporeal abilities, Chilling Touch. Whisper of Dread, Poltergeist Manifestation, hostile level. 12, Health Ethereal, vulnerable to spiritual damage. Defense Object Possession abilities, Telekinetic Throw, Maddening Hum. A wave of pure, bone-chilling dread, accompanied by an intoxicating, ethereal perfume washed over Evelyn. Her Mind Fortress passive held, but just barely. This wasn't a thinning of the veil. This was a tearing. The system, usually a calm guide, updated with an urgent, terrifying message. Alert. System integrity compromised. Spiritual paradigm shift detected. Catastrophic event. The Masquerade of Souls activated. Warning, the veil between worlds has shattered. Spirits are manifesting physically. New threat. Soul consumers have appeared. Elimination is possible. New resource, Ethereal Essence. Collect for survival and power. New class category, Spirit-bound classes available. New quest, Survive the Masquerade of Souls. Evelyn gasped, clutching the ancient manuscript. A spectral hand, icy cold, brushed past her cheek. She was in a real-life LitRPG now, and her class, Occult Scholar Adept, was entirely useless against physically manifesting spirits. Her biggest weapon was her knowledge, but knowledge couldn't fight ghosts. A terrifying shriek echoed through the archives as a spectral form solidified, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. It floated towards her, its incorporeal hand reaching out. Her class menu flashed. Spirit-bound classes. One option, shimmering with an ominous violet glow, was available. Class upgrade available. Spirit Weaver. Requires 1,000 experience points. Description: a specialized class focused on sensing, influencing, and combating spiritual entities. Utilizes ethereal energy for offensive and defensive skills. Effect: upgrade. Spiritual attunement, basic, to ethereal sense, advanced. Gain: spirit bolt, basic. Gain: ectoplasmic shield, basic. She was 180 experience points short. She needed to fight her only weapon, her mind, her books. She grabbed a heavy leather-bound tome, an ancient book of demonology, ironically. The system immediately recognized its potential. Item identified, Tome of Forbidden Rites. Effect: minor blunt damage. New attack skill acquired, Arcane Slam, basic, active. A melee attack with a heavy knowledge-laden tome capable of disorienting ethereal entities. Mana cost, 10. Evelyn, the scholar, now found herself armed with a book, facing an apocalypse of souls. This was going to be an exceptionally long night. Evelyn, clutching the Tome of Forbidden Rites, faced the incoming ephemeral specter, level 8. It glided towards her, its chilling touch reaching out. She channeled her mana, remembering ancient symbols of warding, Arcane Slam, basic, connected with a surprising thwack that seemed to disrupt the specter's ethereal form. It shrieked, recoiling, ephemeral specter, hostile, health 70-80. You have gained 8 experience points. You have gained 1 ethereal essence. The specter, though damaged, lunged again. Evelyn dodged, her scholarly clumsiness surprisingly overridden by adrenaline. She delivered another arcane slam. Ephemeral specter defeated. You have gained 80 experience points. You have gained 10 ethereal essence. 1 down. More were coalescing. Her mana was already low. She needed that class upgrade. A poltergeist manifestation, level 12, began to animate a nearby display case. Its contents, a collection of antique tea sets rattling violently, threatening to hurl porcelain at her. She had to act fast. She now had 80 experience points. She was 100 short. She needed to quickly take out another entity. She spotted a smaller, weaker spectral form, a whispering shade, level 5, fluttering near a bookshelf. These were mostly harmless, but their Whisper of Dread ability could be crippling. She focused, channeled her mana, and struck the whispering shade with her tome. It dissipated quickly. Whispering shade defeated. You have gained 50 experience points. You have gained 5 ethereal essence. She was now 50 experience points short. The poltergeist manifestation hurled an antique teapot at her. She ducked, the pot shattering against the wall behind her. She needed to get more experience. She looked around, her spiritual attunement basic, now sensing the unique signatures of spirits. She needed 1 more, quick kill. She saw another, whispering shade, this one attempting to possess a stack of old newspapers. She rushed it, slammed her tome, whispering shade defeated. You have gained 50 experience points. You have gained 5 ethereal essence. You have enough experience points to level up. Confirm? Yes, she confirmed. A wave of cool ethereal energy washed over her. Her senses sharpened. She could now hear the faint, echoing thoughts of the spirits around her, perceive the subtle currents of ethereal energy. You have leveled up. You are now level 7. New skill point acquired. Intellect +1, insight +1. Mana regeneration increased by 5%. Class upgrade available, the Spirit Weaver. Requires 0 experience points. She confirmed the class upgrade immediately. The feeling was profound. Her connection to the spiritual realm deepened, became less theoretical, more intrinsic. She felt a wellspring of ethereal power within her. You have successfully upgraded your class to Spirit Weaver, Apprentice. You have gained 50 experience points. Your class-specific skills have been updated. Ethereal Sense, Advanced. Passive. Automatically identifies the type, weaknesses, and potential loot of all spiritual entities. Can perceive hidden ethereal pathways. Spirit Bolt, Basic. Active. Launches a concentrated bolt of spiritual energy, dealing minor ethereal damage to spectral entities. Mana cost, 15. Ectoplasmic Shield, Basic. Active. Temporarily conjures a translucent shield of ectoplasmic energy, providing minor spiritual defense. Mana cost, 20. New skill acquired, Whisper of Warding, Basic. Active. Projects a low-frequency spiritual hum that can briefly disorient or push back weaker ethereal entities. Mana cost, 10. She now had a ranged attack. And a shield. She immediately activated Ectoplasmic Shield Basic. A shimmering violet barrier coalesced before her, deflecting the next antique teacup hurled by the poltergeist manifestation. Her mana was low from the shield, but now she had options. She focused on the poltergeist manifestation, which was still throwing objects. She extended her hand, concentrating. Spirit Bolt, Basic, fired. A shimmering violet projectile shot from her fingertips, impacting the poltergeist. It shrieked, its form flickering. Ethereal damage. Poltergeist manifestation hostile. Health, 80-1920. You have gained 12 experience points. You have gained 2 ethereal essence. She kept firing spirit bolts, her mana slowly dwindling. The poltergeist, unable to effectively attack her through her ectoplasmic shield, Basic, eventually dissipated in a flash of ethereal light. Poltergeist manifestation defeated. You have gained 120 experience points. You have gained 20 ethereal essence. She checked her system. Her total ethereal essence was now 40. Her mana was critically low. She now had a better understanding of her situation. She was trapped in the Historical Society, which was rapidly transforming into an ectoplasmic archive. Books floated, documents fluttered by themselves, and more spirits were coalescing. The system updated with a new, urgent quest, core quest, recover the Mirror of Echoes. Description: the ancient Aramaic manuscript spoke of the Mirror of Echoes as the key. It must be found before the spiritual influx becomes irreversible. Objective: locate the Mirror of Echoes within the Oakhaven Historical Society. Reward: access to ritual weaving advanced. Title: Echo Seeker. Failure: uncontrolled spiritual cascade, permanent fusion of realms, the Mirror of Echoes. Of course, the artifact mentioned in the manuscript. It must be here, somewhere in this building. Evelyn, the Spirit Weaver, armed with ectoplasmic power and arcane knowledge, had to find it. Her very reality depended on it. Evelyn, now a Spirit Weaver apprentice, embarked on her quest to find the Mirror of Echoes within the Oakhaven Historical Society. The building was rapidly transforming into a library of lost souls, its once-ordered shelves now home to swirling vortexes of spectral energy and chilling whispers. Her ethereal sense, advanced. Skill was invaluable. It painted a spiritual map of the building, highlighting concentrations of ethereal energy, revealing hidden pathways through the now semi-incorporeal walls, and identifying the various spectral entities lurking within. She encountered new types of spirits. Archive Phantoms, level 10, semi-solid spectral beings that could phase through objects and leave behind debilitating spiritual residue. Whispering Specters, level 14. More powerful versions of the initial ephemeral ones, capable of powerful, chilling blasts that could freeze her in place. Her mana was constantly low, but her ectoplasmic shield, Basic, provided crucial defense, absorbing much of the spiritual damage. She used her Spirit Bolt, Basic, sparingly, relying more on her Whisper of Warding, Basic, to push back weaker entities or create temporary openings. She still resorted to Arcane Slam, Basic, with her Tome of Forbidden Rites, when a spirit got too close, its blunt force disrupting their forms. You have gained 150 experience points from overcoming spiritual obstacles. You have gained 30 ethereal essence from defeated entities. She found herself having to be cunning. She used her Whisper of Warding, basic, to push groups of archive phantoms into each other, causing a temporary spiritual cascade that dissipated them. She avoided the whispering specters when possible, knowing their chilling blasts could bypass her current defenses if she wasn't careful. Her ethereal essence steadily grew. She had 70. She needed to craft something to help her. Her occult scholar background had always emphasized preparation. She opened her crafting menu, now significantly updated by her Spirit Weaver class. Ethereal Crafting, Tier 1. Passive. Automatically granted with Spirit Weaver class. Available recipes: ectoplasmic vial, minor health mana potion for spiritual combat, 10 ethereal essence for 1 vial, spirit charm, basic, minor buff against specific spirit types, 15 ethereal essence for 1 charm, soul compass, temporary, directs user to strongest spiritual signature, 20 ethereal essence for 1 use. She decided the soul compass, temporary, was essential. She needed to find the mirror. She crafted it, 20 ethereal essence, leaving her with 50. The soul compass, temporary, immediately pointed her towards the old, abandoned vault in the basement, a place usually locked down for sensitive historical documents. Its strong spiritual signature was undeniable. As she made her way to the basement, she encountered a new, more terrifying entity, a grave apparition, level 18. This was a hulking, spectral figure wreathed in grave dust, its presence radiating immense spiritual dread. It lumbered towards her, its ghostly grip aiming to ensnare her. She tried Spirit Bolt, basic, but it barely phased the apparition. Her ectoplasmic shield, basic, glowed fiercely, but she knew it wouldn't last against its attacks. She needed to level up. She needed more power. She had enough experience points. You have enough experience points to level up. Confirm? Oh, it's unconfirmed. Another wave of ethereal energy surged through her. You have leveled up. You are now level 8. New skill point acquired. Intellect +1, Insight +1. Mana regeneration increased by 5%. New skill acquired. Ectoplasmic Bind, basic, active. Summons ethereal chains to briefly restrain a single spiritual entity, slowing its movement and reducing its defenses. Mana cost 30, requires 15 ethereal essence. This was perfect for the grave apparition. Restraint! She immediately crafted ectoplasmic vial, 10 ethereal essence, to restore some mana, and then activated ectoplasmic bind basic, 15 ethereal essence. Channeling the ethereal chains towards the apparition. The shimmering chains wrapped around its form, slowing its advance, its dread aura weakening. Grave apparition, hostile, defense reduced. Now. She relentlessly fired, spirit bolts, basic, her ectoplasmic shield, basic, still active. The apparition, bound and slowed, began to take serious damage. After a prolonged battle, it finally dissipated with a mournful wail. Grave apparition defeated. You have gained 200 experience points. You have gained 40 ethereal essence. She had 65 ethereal essence remaining. Her mana was low, but she had triumphed. She reached the basement vault. The vault door, a massive steel barrier, glowed with a powerful ancient spiritual signature. And inside, according to her ethereal sense, advanced, was the Mirror of Echoes. But the vault was not unguarded. A swirling vortex of pure, raw ethereal energy pulsed before the vault, occasionally solidifying into a monstrous, multifaceted being with countless spectral eyes. This was a Soul Sentinel, level 20, a guardian spirit of immense power. Warning, boss encounter. Detected, Soul Sentinel. Extreme spiritual dissonance detected. Prepare for significant spiritual overload. Evelyn's spiritual overload meter instantly spiked to 35%. She felt a massive headache, a jarring cacophony of echoing screams and spiritual noise. The air crackled with raw energy. She had to defeat the Soul Sentinel. She had to reach the Mirror of Echoes. She was level 8. The Sentinel was level 20. This was a true test of her Spirit Weaver abilities. Evelyn stood before the Soul Sentinel, level 20, a monstrous vortex of ethereal energy guarding the vault. Her spiritual overload meter was at a daunting 35%, a constant pressure on her mind. This was the ultimate guardian. Her ethereal sense, advanced, analyzed the sentinel. It was a being of pure, raw spiritual energy, highly resistant to direct damage. Its weakness, subtly revealed, was harmonious resonance, a focused, pure spiritual frequency that could disrupt its chaotic form. She didn't have such an attack, yet she had 65 ethereal essence. She needed more power. She had enough experience points to level up. You have enough experience points to level up. Confirm? Inconfirmed. Another surge of ethereal energy, deeper and more profound, flowed into her. You have leveled up. You are now level 9. New skill point acquired. Intellect +1, insight +1. Mana regeneration increased by 5%. New skill acquired, ectoplasmic burst, area of effect. Active. Releases a powerful wave of ectoplasmic energy, dealing moderate ethereal damage to all nearby spiritual entities. Mana cost, 50, requires 30 ethereal essence. An area of effect attack. This would be crucial for dealing with the Sentinel's summoned minions. The Soul Sentinel retaliated, its spectral eyes burning. It unleashed Echoing Scream, active level 20, a sonic wave of pure spiritual dread that slammed into Evelyn. Her ectoplasmic shield, basic, took the brunt, flickering violently, barely holding. Her mind fortress, passive, was pushed to its absolute limit. You have taken 50 spiritual damage. Ectoplasmic shield, basic, health, 10, 100. She knew direct combat would be a losing battle. She needed to be clever. Her ethereal sense, advanced, detected something else in the vault room. A series of ancient dust-covered tuning forks, part of some forgotten exhibit on sound and resonance. They hummed with a faint, latent spiritual energy. If she could infuse them, she quickly crafted an ectoplasmic vial, 10 ethereal essence, restoring some mana. She had 55 ethereal essence left. She darted towards the tuning forks, dodging another, echoing scream. The Soul Sentinel also began to summon smaller spectral entities. Phantom echoes, level 15, fast-moving, ghostly figures that swarmed her. She activated Ectoplasmic Burst, area of effect, unleashing a wave of energy that swept through the Phantom echoes. Dissipating several of them in a flash of light, Phantom Echo defeated. 3. You have gained 45 experience points. You have gained 9 ethereal essence. She reached the tuning forks. She channeled her mana and her remaining ethereal essence into them, imbuing them with a powerful, harmonizing resonance. Crafting. Resonance chimes, temporary. Description. A set of ancient tuning forks imbued with concentrated, harmonious ethereal essence. When struck, they emit a frequency that disrupts chaotic spiritual forms. Single use. Effect. Inflicts massive harmonious damage to entities vulnerable to resonance. Consumes all remaining ethereal essence. Mana cost 80, she crafted it. All her 64 ethereal essence was consumed. Her mana, despite the potion, was still low. She had one shot. She had to hit the Soul Sentinel with the resonance chimes, temporary. She struck the largest tuning fork. A pure, bell-like tone, impossibly loud and resonant, filled the vault room, vibrating through her very being. The sound was not of this world. It was the harmonious frequency her ethereal sense, advanced, had identified. The Soul Sentinel shrieked. Its swirling vortex form began to unravel, its countless eyes flickering wildly. The harmonious resonance was tearing it apart. She struck another fork, then another, amplifying the harmonious frequency. The Sentinel roared, but its power was visibly waning. Its body was shimmering, dissipating, unable to maintain its chaotic form against such pure spiritual order. Finally, with a last desperate strike, she activated the final fork, pouring every last drop of her mana into it. The wave of harmonious resonance slammed into the Sentinel, forcing it to dissipate entirely in a spectacular burst of pure, shimmering ethereal light. Soul Sentinel defeated. You have gained 500 experience points. You have gained 100 ethereal essence. The vault room was silent save for the faint, lingering hum of spiritual energy. The spiritual overload meter instantly dropped to 0%. Evelyn was exhausted but triumphant. Core quest. Recover the Mirror of Echoes. Complete. You have gained 500 experience points. Access to ritual weaving advanced unlocked. You have gained the legendary title Echo Seeker. The massive steel vault door, no longer guarded, slowly creaked open. Inside, on a pedestal, rested the Mirror of Echoes. It wasn't a grand, ornate mirror, but a simple, polished obsidian disc, its surface shimmering with a faint silver light. It hummed with ancient power, its surface reflecting not her image, but a kaleidoscope of swirling spectral faces, the echoes of countless souls. She picked it up. A profound sense of purpose filled her. Her ethereal sense advanced, analyzed the mirror. It was not merely a key. It was a conduit. It could either amplify the dissonance of the Masquerade of Souls, accelerating the apocalypse, or, if wielded correctly, harmonize it, sending the spirits back to their proper realms. She had 100 ethereal essence. And the Mirror of Echoes. She was level 9, almost 10. She knew what she had to do next. She had to end the masquerade. Evelyn, the Echo Seeker, emerged from the vault, clutching the Mirror of Echoes. Its obsidian surface, a window to countless souls, pulsed with a calm, steady light, a counterpoint to the chaotic energy still swirling through the historical society. She had 100 ethereal essence. Her ethereal sense, advanced, now pointed her towards the epicenter of the Masquerade of Souls, not within the historical society, but beyond it. The source of the entire spiritual influx was the Grand Ballroom of the old Oakhaven Manor, the very place the ancient Aramaic manuscript had described as the site of the Centennial Ritual, Core Quest, and the Eye. Masquerade. Description: the Masquerade of Souls must be brought to an end before the spiritual cascade becomes irreversible. Objective: reach the Grand Ballroom of Oakhaven Manor and use the Mirror of Echoes to resolve the masquerade. Reward: end of the masquerade, legendary title, Soul Harmonizer. Failure: permanent fusion of the material and spiritual realms, eternal masquerade. She was level 9. She needed to level up before facing the ultimate challenge. She had enough experience points. You have enough experience points to level up. Confirm? YN confirmed. The ethereal energy surged through her, solidifying her connection to the spiritual realm. You have leveled up. You are now level 10! New skill point acquired. Presence +1, intellect +1. Mana regeneration increased by 5%. New skill acquired. Soul sight, primordial. Passive. Grants enhanced perception of spiritual entities, weaknesses, and a deeper understanding of the spiritual tapestry. Grants minor resistance to all spiritual debuffs, soul sight, primordial. This would be crucial. She could now see the intricacies of the spiritual world with unprecedented clarity. The pathways, the dissonance, the echoes of lingering emotions. It was all laid bare. She made her way out of the historical society, the spirits now less aggressive, more like confused, lost echoes. Her progress had clearly disrupted the local dissonance. The streets of Oakhaven, however, were still a nightmare. Spectral figures danced in the air, swirling around bewildered mortals who were either terrified, possessed, or simply unaware, caught in the ethereal currents. The air hummed with spiritual activity, and the old Oakhaven Manor, usually a tourist attraction, pulsed with a malevolent, alluring glow. As she moved through the streets, she encountered new, more powerful spirits, possessed townsfolk, level 16, their eyes glowing with ethereal light, their bodies moving with unnatural grace, attacking anything corporeal. Shadow harvesters, level 18, cloaked figures made of pure shadow, whose touch could drain spiritual energy and inflict severe dread. She relied heavily on her soul sight, primordial, to identify their weaknesses. Possessed townsfolk were vulnerable to pure spiritual dispelling. Shadow harvesters recoiled from concentrated light or pure, harmonious energy. Her ectoplasmic shield, basic, was still her primary defense. She used ectoplasmic bind, basic, to restrain the possessed townsfolk, then spirit bolt, basic, to try and dispel the possessing spirit without harming the host. It was a delicate process, but her insight allowed her to refine her aim. For the shadow harvesters, she used her ethereal crafting tier 1 and her 100 ethereal essence to create something specific. She looked at her recipes. Crafting. Light wisp, temporary. Requires 20 ethereal essence. Description. a small, pure orb of ethereal light that can temporarily dispel shadows and minor spiritual miasma, can be thrown. She crafted 4 light wisps, 80 ethereal essence, leaving her with 20. She threw them at the shadow harvesters. The wisps exploded, bathing the shadowy figures in pure light. They shrieked, dissipating into nothingness. Shadow Harvester defeated. X2. You have gained 200 experience points. You have gained 40 ethereal essence. She was now at the gates of Oakhaven Manor. The grand old house was a spectacle of otherworldly horror and beauty. Ethereal lanterns floated in the air, illuminating swirling mists. Spectral guests, dressed in ancient, shimmering masquerade costumes, danced silently in the overgrown gardens. And from within the manor, a powerful, rhythmic hum emanated, the heartbeat of the masquerade itself. New boss encounter, the Architect of Souls, unknown level. Warning, primordial spiritual entity detected. Extreme dissonance and spiritual overload detected. Prepare for complete spiritual absorption. Her spiritual overload meter spiked to a terrifying 60%. The hum from within the manor was a chaotic symphony of sorrow, joy, rage, and confusion. The raw emotions of countless souls, all amplified. She had 60 ethereal essence. She had the Mirror of Echoes, and she knew its true purpose. She had to use it to harmonize the chaos, the Grand Ballroom. That was where the ritual was taking place. That was where she would find the Architect of Souls. She steeled herself. She, Evelyn Ashwood, the soul harmonizer, was going to end this masquerade once and for all. Evelyn entered the Grand Ballroom of Oakhaven Manor, the Mirror of Echoes clutched tightly in her hand. The scene was breathtakingly beautiful and utterly horrifying. Hundreds of spectral figures, adorned in shimmering ethereal masquerade masks and gowns, waltzed in an endless, silent dance. Their laughter was unheard, their whispers only felt as faint reverberations in her mind. At the center of the ballroom, on a raised dais, a colossal figure spun slowly. It was a humanoid form, made entirely of swirling, coalesced ethereal energy, its face an ever-shifting grand masquerade mask that cycled through expressions of joy, sorrow, and terrifying indifference. This was the Architect of Souls level, or the primordial entity behind the masquerade. Its presence radiated an overwhelming spiritual overload that pushed Evelyn's meter to 75%. She felt her thoughts blurring, her spiritual energy attempting to rip free from her body, drawn into the swirling dance. Her soul sight, primordial, revealed the Architect's true nature. It was not evil, but a being of pure, unbridled spiritual curiosity, attempting to understand and collect the myriad emotions of all souls, regardless of the devastation it caused. It viewed the chaos as a magnificent, eternal party. "Welcome, mortal!" the Architect's voice boomed, a chorus of 1,000 whispers and forgotten melodies. "Come, join our eternal dance. Surrender your essence, add your unique note to our grand symphony." It extended a shimmering hand towards her, a gesture both welcoming and terrifying. The spectral dancers around it surged, their ethereal forms attempting to pull her into the swirling waltz. Evelyn, still level 10, knew she couldn't fight this entity directly. It was not a creature of malice, but of boundless, amoral power. She had to reason with it, or rather, show it a different path through the Mirror of Echoes. She raised the obsidian mirror. Its surface, instead of reflecting the chaotic ballroom, began to absorb the ambient spiritual energy, purifying it, refining it. Her soul sight, primordial, showed her how the mirror was designed to reflect true spiritual essence, not just a chaotic echo. "This is not a symphony, Architect," Evelyn shouted, her voice echoing with a surprising strength thanks to her presence stat and the mirror's amplification. "This is dissonance! You are tearing worlds apart. You are devouring souls, not celebrating them." The Architect recoiled slightly, its shifting mask flickering through expressions of confusion. "Devouring? No, mortal, we are collecting, experiencing, sharing in the grand tapestry of emotion. This is the ultimate masquerade." It launched an attack, Soul Shard Barrage, active level unknown. Hundreds of tiny razor-sharp shards of pure spiritual energy rained down upon her. Her ectoplasmic shield basic, even with her increased mana and abilities, would be shattered instantly. She had to act. She didn't have enough ethereal essence to craft anything significant. But she had the mirror she didn't block, she reflected. She channeled all her remaining mana into the Mirror of Echoes, focusing her intent on reflecting not the raw attack, but the very essence of her argument, the beauty of order, the necessity of balance, the sacredness of individual souls. The mirror shimmered, acting as a true mirror of echoes, not just reflecting the shards, but reflecting a perfect, harmonious counterfrequency back at the architect. The soul shard barrage dissolved mid-air as it encountered this pure resonance. The architect staggered, its ethereal body convulsing. The pure, harmonious reflection from the mirror was causing it immense discomfort. It was like a chaotic symphony suddenly being forced into a single, pure note. Dissonance. Such order! It burns, the architect cried out, its voice losing its multi-layered chorus, becoming singular, a single, terrified whisper. Evelyn pressed her advantage. She stepped forward, still holding the mirror, now actively focusing her soul sight, primordial, to show the architect what it was truly doing. She projected images of families reunited, of peaceful transitions, of the delicate balance of life and death, of the purpose of souls in their own realms. She showed it the suffering it caused by its collection. The architect of souls reeled. Its masquerade mask shattered, revealing not a face but a core of pure, unblemished spiritual light, pulsing with confusion and sorrow. It had never intended harm. It had simply misunderstood. It was a child, albeit an incredibly powerful one, playing with cosmic forces. The veil, it must be mended, the architect whispered, its voice now pure and clear. The echoes. They must return. I understand. It raised its hands not in attack, but in an act of cosmic mending. The swirling, chaotic energy of the Grand Ballroom began to recede. The spectral dancers, no longer caught in the endless waltz, paused, their forms softening, their masks dissolving to reveal peaceful, transient expressions. They were being drawn back, not consumed, but guided gently to their proper realms. Primordial entity, the architect of souls, balance achieved. Catastrophic event, the Masquerade of Souls resolved. Core quest, end the Masquerade, complete. Massive experience points bonus awarded, 500,000 experience points. Your level is now capped at 10 until you undergo a class apotheosis. All core Spirit Weaver skills have been upgraded to primordial rank. You have gained the legendary title Soul Harmonizer. The Architect of Souls has acknowledged your guidance and wisdom. New passive skill acquired, Primordial Ethereal Affinity passive. Grants profound connection and influence over spiritual energies, both active and residual. Minor passive regeneration of health and mana when in areas with spiritual presence. New skill acquired, Veil Mend, basic. Active. Channels pure ethereal energy to temporarily seal minor spiritual breaches or soothe confused spirits. Mana cost variable. The Grand Ballroom slowly, gracefully returned to its normal state. The spectral figures faded, leaving behind only the lingering scent of ethereal perfume and a profound sense of peace. The spiritual overload meter disappeared. The Mirror of Echoes now shone with a calm silver light, its surface reflecting her own tired but triumphant face. The Architect of Souls, its lesson learned, shimmered, its core of pure light receding, not vanishing, but integrating back into the fabric of the universe as a benevolent guardian of the spiritual tapestry. Evelyn Ashwood, the soul harmonizer, stood alone in the restored Grand Ballroom. The world was safe. The veil was mended. She, the scholar, had not just studied the arcane. She had shaped it. Her expertise was no longer theoretical. It was proven. She looked at the Mirror of Echoes. It was still a conduit, but now, a benevolent one, capable of maintaining the delicate balance between worlds. Her work, though grander now, was still rooted in understanding, in learning. And the system, now benevolent once more, surely had new, more harmonious quests for the soul harmonizer. Her next step? Documenting this incredible experience. And perhaps a very long, quiet cup of tea.